Basically, 12 years ago, after a decade long of conflict, and of course, right when the country became a republic, there was a lot of expectations. And of course, the one thing that Nepal wanted was to come up with extreme increase in the investments, especially to transform the economic development of Nepal. So under the Prime Minister, at that point in time, Investment Board Nepal was established with a lot of power, and that's when I had joined also. And it was basically to be autonomous and non-political, commercial, and really a commercial face for the Nepal government. It was like a professional institution whereby it was doing business for Nepal, as the government of Nepal and the Nepalese people. Now, 12 years is a major milestone for Investment Board, because I remember 12 years ago, the first office I had was one small office on the ground floor of this building. And now, as you can see, it's a huge institution, has a great property. Hopefully that can become Investment Board's property, I think, because that's what we had envisioned, and that's what we should envision for in the future, because that's how you can attract private investment. But having said that, our celebration today is not just so much a festivity, but it's a solemn occasion to reflect on those vision and ideals. Also a moment to look ahead, because there are a lot of challenges. The world is changing. The landscape, investment landscape, is enormously changing, and there's a lot of competition. So we established it to be the investment destination, develop transformative projects, have a one-window service, and become a PPP center of excellence. Now, what I'd like to do is, what I thought was, how do we compare then? I mean, of course, in the media, you see that Investment Board is not really doing its job, or, there's a lot of criticism that comes about also. What I thought is, to be fair, let's compare with few countries, two countries, Bangladesh and Sri Lanka. If you look at that, if you look at the chart, Bangladesh established their investment board in 1989. Sri Lanka was 1979. And it took them almost 20, 30 years to really, after a lot of changes in their act, laws, it took them that many years to really come up with cross the $1 billion mark. So Nepal currently, it is 12 years. We have crossed $200 million mark, I think, because of, the COVID and all. There's been an impact, but I'm sure it's not that bad. The other thing to look at also is it's an evolution. We cannot expect Investment Board to actually, perform just by itself within a year or 2 years, because what Investment Board is all about is it's Nepal's project. What Investment Board is all about, it represents the country Nepal, and not just a board. So which means that, everyone involved, the ministries, the bureaucracy, the private sector, I mean, we all need to support Investment Board if we really want investment. An institution just cannot do it by itself. So that's where I think we need to do a lot of work, and that's where we need to have patience and persistence. The other is adaptation and innovation. As you can see, the act is changed. The other has been restructured and all that. So definitely we need to adapt to changes. That's why we also had a change in 2019. And third, and most important, is the commitment. As I don't want to get into details, I don't have the kind of time, but if you look at the two boards, they're really committed, very high-powered board. Not only that, they're so high-powered that they can, in some cases, they can even make laws. So that's what the Investment Board was. But now, let's talk about where Investment Board is now. I mean, a lot of this is not communicated, I'm sure, to the general public. But right now, investment approval of over $9.3 billion for 42 projects have been made by the Investment Board. Over $3 billion projects under implementation. There is a in order for action to come, there has to be policies and procedures. So guideline mechanism have been built around investment board. And then there is also, for investment promotion, 3 international conferences was organized. For institutional development, the IBN fund was established. There is a 5-year strategic plan and developed, and web portals to help the investors and the officials. And finally, there's a lot of cooperation. I think, behind the walls is always a cooperation, otherwise nothing would move forward between the political parties, with the political parties, the government, development parties, development partners, and professional groups, and so on. So if you look at it, there has been a lot of activities that have been positive for investment board. And one thing we must understand, whatever investment board is working is not investment board's project. Like I said before, it's the government's, it's the people of Nepal's project. Now let's see, just as I showed you the chart of Sri Lanka, let's look at it, Nepal, FDIs in Nepal. If you look at for the last 30 years, there actually was no FDI. If you look at from the 1980s to, and boom, after 2010, after 2011, when the investment board was established, then you're seeing the FDI going up, and the highs and lows are because of the COVID and other things that happened. It was also because of the earthquake and so forth. Now, for this, the key drivers are, the political and government support. Without that, this wouldn't have been possible. And I must mention that unwavering support of UK aid since 2012. They've been around helping the investment board since 2012, and also technical assistance of partners. And of course, at the end of the day, we have to give credit to the tenacity, determination, dedication of investment board and the office. Now, where do we go from here? Because one thing is, so what are the challenges? Where do we go on from here? And basically, 12 years of mandate is, as the experience that we have had is, that question that we always get is IBN still one window or another window? It was a talk at that time also. I think we really need to focus on that, because we have to compete, like I said, with other countries in order to actually build a one-window shop. It doesn't have to be physically, but whatever the IBN board decides needs to be implemented. You cannot have IBN be responsible for all the implementation when, as a matter of fact, the ministries and the other institutions are basically making those decisions. The second is, I think, the project pipeline development. We talk a lot about, and we hear a lot about the DFIs and others. They want to invest in Nepal. Naturally, there has to be projects. I do not see really well curated projects in Nepal even now. So the DFIs should invest more on actually curating transformational projects in different sectors and actually helping enhance the capacity of the investment board and in country in general in order to do that. And the last is, basically, I think the institutional sustainability, and this is the key for the investment board. Even currently, investment board does not have full-time staff. There are secondment from the government and there are consultants. So we are talking about signing 30, 40 years contracts, $1 billion worth with private sectors. Now, who's going to really regulate those? Who's going to look after those contracts? There has to be some kind of institutional memory. Otherwise, without that, there's going to be a lot of risk for the government of Nepal. And in order to do these, number one, I think HR sustainability is the key criteria. There has to be changes to the act. And secondly, the financial financially also it has to be sustainable. Because in most of the investment boards in the world, investment board, they earn their money from the fees, and they have to run it by themselves, and they are, like I said, a private sector, very, a commercial face of the government. They have to act like a private sector to deal with private sector. So without this, I think it's a high time we make these changes, and I think right now when the capital is so much required for the economy, this can really be a source of capital for development of Nepal, and we really have to work on this for the development of the country. So I'd lastly like to thank the IBN and CEO on this occasion. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for this invaluable sharing. Ladies and gentlemen, our esteemed partners, investors, and collaborators have been instrumental in our pursuit. And we take a moment now to celebrate the enduring partnerships as we continue our journey through this momentous celebration. It's our pleasure to present a series of testimonials now in audiovisual format from our invaluable stakeholders, which offer us a unique insight into the collaborative efforts that have shaped the success story of IBN, beginning first with our development partner.
Namaste, and congratulations to my dear colleagues as we celebrate the 12th anniversary of Investment Board Nepal. The World Bank is proud to be a trusted partner of IBN through these years and in Nepal's development for more than half a century. I applaud the government's concerted efforts and key steps taken to reform the FDI entry regime in Nepal. We're making steps. We still have a long way to go, but we need to do it together. These include reducing the minimum FDI threshold, proposing to use an automatic approval process for foreign investments under 500 million rupees in selected sectors, and removing the minimum FDI threshold for the ICT sector. The government's focus on economic growth and reform efforts to attract, facilitate, and promote investment, including FDI and PPPs, are indeed noteworthy. We encourage a coordinated, all-of-government approach to these challenges, and we stand ready to work with you on this. This is all the more important as Nepal pivots to a development pathway that is green, resilient, and inclusive to spur green growth and sustainable development for the benefit of all Nepalis. The World Bank will be a steadfast partner in Nepal's grid agenda and stands committed to help operationalize this vision. Thank you, and again, congratulations.
That was a representative insight from among our development partners. Now we steer you through to the insights of our investors whose experience shed light on the transformative power of the public-private partnerships and the positive impacts that they have had on our nation's development.
Shri Sushil Bhatta, CEO IBN, for providing this opportunity to share my thoughts with August Gatling. SJVN has started its Nepal project way back in 2008 by signing MOU of Arun 3 hydroelectric project. And since then we moved a long way. As of date, SJVN is developing 3 hydro projects of 3200 megawatt. In last 12 years, IBN has been instrumental in infrastructure development of Nepal. IBN, being a single window of all FDI investors, has facilitated the streamlining approval process, formulating different laws and regulation to improve the ease of doing business in Nepal. The Public-Private Partnership and Investment Act approval of 2019 is one of the such major initiatives. SJVN Limited has been working in a close association with IBM for past 12 years, and whenever there are issues, same has been addressed by IBM proactively. The support provided by IBM for the import of construction material, machinery, plant, equipment, remittance of the payment to the foreign suppliers, and coordination with different stakeholders, approvals extra in a time-bound manner are exemplary. The progress achieved by SJVN in Arun 3 could not have been possible without the hand-holding of IBM. The approval of the detailed project report of Lower Arun hydroelectric project granted by IBM under the dynamic leadership of Right Honorable Prime Minister Shri Prachandji in a record time of 3 months, and conclusion of PDA and its signing are few such examples, which itself demonstrates the capacity, competency and speed at which IBM can deliver. SJVN is developing almost 56,000 megawatt of the power projects in the field of hydro, solar, wind, thermal in India and other countries, out of which 2200 megawatt of hydro projects are in Nepal only. I would like to confirm, which has been told by our worthy chairman in past, that SJVN is committed to generate at least 5,000 megawatt of hydro project in Nepal by 2030. On this occasion, I would like to suggest that IBM should be empowered to act as an infrastructure authority, which should be in a position to grant different licenses, approvals, apart from facilitating the FDI investors. A long-term power trade has jointly been agreed by India and Nepal during the visit of Right Honorable Prime Minister of Nepal to India in May. During this occasion, the Honorable Prime Minister of India has mentioned that the target of importing 10,000 megawatt of electricity from Nepal in coming years has been set. However, to meet that requirement, to complete that work, the land acquisition and ROW issues are being a major bottleneck and are delaying and will be delaying the ongoing projects. As such, I request that all necessary regulation of transmission line infrastructure need to be framed at the earliest to achieve this ambitious target together. Thank you.
Respected Honorable Prime Minister, Mr. Pushp Kamal Dahalju, bureaucrats, all other invited guests, including media friends, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning and namaste to all of you. On behalf of GMR Group, I would like to convey my heartiest congratulations to IBM for their 12th anniversary being organized today. IBM has undoubtedly played an instrumental role in making Nepal an investment destination with the ultimate objective of ensuring long-term sustainable social and economic development of the country. GMR Group is a leading infrastructure conglomerate with interest in airport, energy, transportation and urban infrastructure. GMR Group, through its special SPV, GMR Upper Karnali Hydropower Limited and Karnali Transmission Company Private Limited, has its footprints in Nepal for the development and implementation of 900 megawatt Upper Karnali Hydropower Project. Upper Karnali Hydropower Project is a large flagship export-oriented project having high visibility and is closely followed by all the stakeholders and international investors and lenders communities. GMR Group, after going through all hardship, pain and challenges shown by GMR, and with full support from National Board of Nepal, including state and central level, we have been able to reach as a stage where this project now has been positioned as an first world tri-nation project having supply of power from Nepal to Bangladesh. With the efforts being made by GMR on this project, international community and the lenders are looking Nepal as a valuable destination for investment in Nepal. Now we are reached at a stage where we have been able to finalize a power sale agreement for supply of 500 megawatt of power from Upper Karnali Hydropower Project to Bangladesh. At a time when Nepal is looking to attract FDIs, particularly in the hydropower sector, and wants to sell its surplus power to the neighboring countries like India, Bangladesh, Bhutan, This power purchase agreement will open door for all the IPPs of Nepal to export power to its neighboring countries. We emphasize from our side GMR for timely commitments made to the government of Nepal to deliver this project. We wish all the success to IBN for this event and for all their upcoming future ventures. Thank you and namaste.
It's my extreme pleasure to be a part of this celebration of 12th Foundation Day of Investment Board of Nepal. As we all know that Investment Board of Nepal is a very significant organization who is pursuing the investments from abroad as well as the domestic also for the development of the country. I express my congratulations to the entire board of Investment Board of Nepal on this auspicious day, and Honorable Prime Minister of Nepal being the chairman of this board, I extend my regard and the good wishes for further success stories of Investment Board. I happened to meet Mr. Bhatta, the CEO of the board, when I visited Nepal last in April, and I found him a person who is always filled with enthusiasm, lot of excitement, to pursue the objectives of the IBN, and the way he conducted the interactions with NHPC that time. I being the chairman of the NHPC, I really admire his courage, really admire his enthusiasm, and I think that this kind of approach of the CEO of Investment Board of Nepal would take this organization a lot further. As regards to the NHPC, we have already signed 2 MOUs for the development of 2 projects, that is West Sethi and SR6. And that also happened very quickly because we engaged into discussions about maybe a year and a half back, and about a year back we signed the MOU. So immediately after 4 or 5 months we signed the MOU, and after that many milestones for the development of these 2 projects were set in, and I am happy to share that because of the constant support of IBN, these 2 projects are going on very well. Investigations on both the projects have already started on the ground. So I really thank the IBN for their constant support on these 2 projects. We have also signed a joint venture agreement for the development of Phuket Karnali project with VUCL, and there also the support of IBN would be required as we go through the development of the project. A great role of this board in the development of Nepal, particularly in the hydropower sector, is essential, and I extend all my hearty congratulations and wishes for the board, and I see a great future with NHPC and IBN coming together for the development of hydropower sector in Nepal. Thank you.
I am Tae Hak Yoon, CEO of NWEDC, a developer of Upper Trishul-1 hydropower project, 216 megawatt in Rashua. Koen, as first Korean company investing in hydropower in Nepal, believe that Nepal should implement an effective one-stop solution approach for FDI project rather than involving multiple governmental organizations. I do suggest IBN make the FDI-friendly consistent policy on currency hedging, repatriation, work permit visa. The physical progress of Vientiane as of now is almost 22% with the expected COD set for the end of 2026 following the successful completion of UT1. We are planning to undertake another hydropower project in Nepal. Thank you.
大家上午好，我是他的管理国际举报学会的董事会董事长是在部门。首先向以上海员海科的12分表示祝贺，也感谢届时邀请。 非常遗憾，我这位是老师表示祝贺，再次向各位歉意。一下陈老现在海边委员是长期对公司的支持帮助表示感谢。川的国际2家上市领域的领导企业，其开发投资马相体技术集团项目是团投集团上项目，也是其中中资代理最大的投资。被省为省政府为一带一路标杆项目。该项目是约12亿美元，其中我们1万合作委员会贵国副总理施雷斯塔先生一行来川访问。这期间，我陪同川投集团公司董事长吴晓西先生全程参与，见证了中印两国在“一带一路”构架下为推动项目发展和双方经济文化交流所做出的积极贡献。这标志着两国友谊合作迈上崭新台阶，项目进展取得实质性飞跃。虽然目前项目推进中还存在征地移民、中方员工工作许可、汇率风险分摊措施等方面的问题挑战，但基于双方前期的友好合作关系，我相信 IBN 在未来会一如既往的支持上马乡地2项目，协助并加快推动项目开工建设。希望我们双方能以马乡地和梯级电站开发为契机，未来有更多领域的合作交流，也期望更多实力雄厚、信誉优良的尼泊尔能看到在尼泊尔的商业投资机会，助力中印两国达成合作共赢的一致目标。最后，祝愿大家工作顺利，身体健康，预祝本次活动取得圆满成功。谢谢，再见。
Ladies and gentlemen, we are in fact overwhelmed and ever thankful for the greetings and the acclaims that have been received from our rich pool of investors, developers and partners. In the interest of the valuable time of us all, we could not accommodate the video, audio visuals in its entire length. We request you all to kindly check our website, the official website of the Investment Board of Nepal, to access the audio visual in its full length. And one more time, our deepest thank you to all the contributors and the investors and partners. Said that, ladies and gentlemen, as we bid to seek insights and experiences on IBN's journey of fostering national economic development, we cannot do without hearing from a key and steadfast partner whose support has been embedded with IBN's efforts since its inception and also in Nepal's journey towards economic progress. It is only fitting that we hear this sharing and insight at this momentous occasion. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a privilege and pleasure for me to be inviting His Excellency Rob Fenn, the Ambassador of the United Kingdom to Nepal.
Samananiya Pradhan Mantri Ju, Honorable Minister of Finance, Minister of Energy and Water Resources, Minister of Industry and Commerce, Minister of Forestry and Environment. I've had the honor to meet all of you, I think, in my very short time here, and I'm extremely grateful for that. I'm particularly honored to be given this opportunity to make some very brief remarks at this fantastic event. As you know, the UK have been partnering with IBN in various capacities since its inception. We've heard today some of the major milestones you have already achieved and which we have been proud to support. There have been challenges, and we have faced them together to improve the sustainability and effectiveness of the institution you have built. We see this as a critical institution which facilitates much needed investment in Nepal. High quality foreign investment, partnering with Nepali business, can bring capital investment, but also skills and technology transfer, which is much needed to drive domestic growth and create jobs. The investment board can also make sure those investments protect the environment and safeguard the rights of communities affected by those investments. There is still a lot of work to do together, as Nepal remains a tough place for businesses to thrive and foreign investors to work. In our next phase of support through our Green Growth Nepal program, due to start next year, we're putting partnerships at the heart of the way we work. We'll be looking to work much more closely with many of you in the room here today. So, namaste sabaiharu. Ma tapaiसँग काम गर्न पाउँदा धेरै खुसी छु.
Dhanyavad to His Excellency, the Ambassador of the UK to Nepal. Thank you indeed for your very valuable words and support. Said that, ladies and gentlemen, may I now invite the Honorable Minister for Finance, also the Vice Chairman of the IBN, Dr. Prakash Charan Mahat, to say a few words.
धन्यवाद. सम्माननीय प्रधानमन्त्रीज्यू, मन्त्रीज्यूहरू, सचिवज्यूहरू, राष्ट्रिय योजना आयोगका उपाध्यक्षज्यू, Excellencies, Chief of different missions stationed in Kathmandu, ladies and gentlemen. सर्वप्रथम त म नेपाल लगानी बोर्डको